confusion, chaos, death. These are all things that are associated with the aftermath of a suicide bombing attack. Attacks such as these have become all too common in the last decade, as Americans fighting overseas have struggled to fight an unconventional enemy with nonlinear tactics using a conventional force. In Brian Turner's 2,000 Pounds, Turner relates the scenes from an aftermath of a suicide bombing in Asher Square. As he pans around in the different stanzas to each person affected by the suicide bombing, Turner captures the differences between the experiences of the American soldiers and the experiences of the Iraqi civilians involved in the explosion. Today I'll be reciting the first half of the 5th stanza and the entirety of the 6th stanza of this poem, as I feel that these stanzas accurately contrast the experiences of the soldiers as well as those of the civilians. 2,000 Pounds by Brian Turner. Asher Square, Mosul. The civil affairs officer, Lieutenant Jackson, stares at his missing hands, which make no sense to him. No sense at all. To wave these absurd stumps held in the air where just a moment before he'd blown bubbles out the Humvee window. His left hand holding the bottle, his right hand dipping the plastic ring in soap, filling the air behind them with floating spheres like the oxygen trails of deep ocean divers. Something for the children, something beautiful. Nearby, an old woman cradles her grandson, whispering, rocking him on her knees as though singing him to sleep. Her hands wet with their blood. Her black dress soaked in it as her legs give out and she buckles with him to the ground. If you'd have asked her 40 years earlier if she could see herself an old woman begging by the roadside for money here, with a bomb exploding at the market among all these people, she'd have told you. To have your heart broken one last time before dying, to kiss a child given sight of a life he could never live, it's impossible. This isn't the way we die. This isn't the way we die. This poem resonated with me because I felt like this captured the emotions associated with the suicide bombing in the square. It doesn't make sense to us that the civil affairs officer is the one who gets his hands blown off in the Humvee as he's blowing bubbles out the window trying to create a happy scene for the children standing in the square. It doesn't make sense that the grandmother has to hold her dying grandson, that the old woman outlives the progeny. It doesn't make sense. But these are the realities that we must deal with, especially in unconventional conflicts. And I think as we move forward and we begin our careers as military officers, it will be important to remember that war is not always linear and war is chaotic, and these things do happen. Thank you.